Hi, in this video I will talk about the 7 most important things that you need to know and act on in the first 30 days in order to set yourself up for success in your Canadian immigration and settling process. Now, this list is based on the most common questions that immigrants have in the first month after their immigration. My name is Behroz. I am a finance executive by profession and a personal development coach by passion. Now, before moving on, in case you liked this video, please do press the like button and also subscribe to the channel. In addition to subscribing, please do also press the bell icon so you get notified as soon as I put a new content on this channel. Now, one disclaimer. All the inputs in this video are based on a combination of my personal experience and experiences of my social network and friends who either came before or after me to Canada. For background, I am originally from South Asia. I did my landing in Canada in 2015 at the age of 31, but I didn't stay here. Rather, I went back, took 2 years to wind up my career and my life back home, and then came back in 2017 and eventually moved to Canada with my wife and 2 kids. Since then, it has been 4 years, and I continue to consider my move to Canada as one of the best decisions that I've taken in my life. Now, before we go ahead and get in the details, I want to call out one important thing. That is, with your move to a new country and immigration, you get a chance to change and reset a lot of things in your life. Things that you may be stuck because of bad choices or miscalculation. For instance, a higher mortgage rate or an expensive car lease, or a long commute between your workplace and where you live. Make sure you learn from your past mistakes and experiences of others like myself. Additionally, draw out your model life. For instance, your model life could be about saving more to retire early, which would mean that from here onwards you need to make better financial choices. Or it could mean I want to spend more time with my family, which would mean that you need to optimize your commute between work and where you live. So based on your learnings and desired life model, set yourself up for success with this change in your life when you immigrate to a new country, as against falling into the old habits and old ways of doing things, which will get you trapped again in the life which is not true to your model. Now let's go ahead and talk in detail the 7 things that you need to know and act on in order to set yourself up for success with your immigration to Canada. Number 1 is housing. Here my advice is to rent as against buying. This is simply because it is best to know the property market and landscape before you engage into buying a property. For instance, you would want to know whether you should buy from a new builder or you should buy from a resale market. Secondly, you would want to know where to buy in terms of the city, the town, its location, the neighborhood. Also, you would want to know what is your commute from work. So it's best to know all these details before you get and jump into buying a property. Hence, it's best to start with renting, get to know all this information, understand how the market works, and then at your good and sweet time after you've done your homework, you go and purchase the property of your choice. If you come to Canada at a time when the property prices are rising, you may feel pressured to make a purchase now so you can benefit from the rising prices. My strong advice, don't rush. Do your homework, take your sweet time. This is a very important decision of your life, especially given the amount of money involved. Real estate prices will keep going up. In the short run, you may miss a good opportunity. However, in the long run, your investment will always pay out and it will always be a good investment. Now, when deciding the location of your house, it is very important to pick the location in a good neighborhood. Now, a good neighborhood can be easily measured by the rating of the school that is in that neighborhood. There are a number of independent organizations that do school ratings. I have mentioned the website of one of those independent organizations who do school ratings. On the website, you can find the school that falls in your neighborhood and its subsequent rating. Any rating which is above 7 is considered good. So only pick locations in neighborhood where they have schools with ratings above 7. Now, second is schooling. There are both public and private school systems in Canada. However, unlike South Asian countries, the public schooling system in Canada is extremely good and highly rated. The government of Canada ensures that same curriculum is followed across all schooling systems, regardless whether they are private or public. Here, note that for public schooling, you can only send your kid to a public school that is in your neighborhood. Hence, as long as you've chosen a neighborhood with a good school rating, you don't need to worry about sending your kids to a private school. A public school with a good rating is more than good enough. The school rating is based on annual test of students in the school, and the outcome of the test determines the ratings of those schools. The better the test, the higher the score, the better would be the rating for that particular school. Now, essentially, since all schools have same quality of teachers and curriculum, what makes a school different in ranking or rating is the intake of students. The schools with high ratings intake kids from families who are highly involved in their kids' education and upbringing. Now, this helps drive passion and ambition in kids, which work hard and hence end up delivering good results in their tests. Now, if you enroll your kid in such an environment, they are for sure to get impacted and influenced by such kids around them. And therefore, it is important to choose a neighborhood with a good school rating. Now, before we talk about the third most important item on the list, one piece of advice. Keep your recurring monthly expenses as low as possible, especially in the first 6 months to a year, especially when you don't have a job or income that is coming. It is okay to spend and make a one-time purchase, but don't tie yourself up in monthly or recurring installments and expenses. For instance, in Canada, there is access to purchase almost anything under the sun by financing or leasing, which would trap you or tie you up into monthly installments. And especially in the beginning, when you don't have a job, or even if you have a job, it may not be the best paying job, try to avoid getting to the trap of those recurring monthly expenses, which will eat up from your savings or income. Now, keeping that in mind, I strongly recommend that you buy a second-hand car, and that also on cash. You can easily find a second-hand car from a dealer selling pre-owned cars. Anything above 2 years is a good buy. Given ease of cash availability in Canada, you would be bombarded with marketing and advertisements to buy a new car on lease and installments and financing. However, you need to avoid that temptation, since in that case you would be paying a major premium, which is true for buying any new car. Car is one of the fastest depreciating things that you can own. As per data, car loses 20% of its value in the first year, while in subsequent year it only loses 10% of its value. So it's best to buy a second-hand car and not to pay that premium. Additionally, avoid falling into the trap of purchasing a car on lease and tying yourself up with monthly installments. Another side reason to buy a car on cash and avoid buying a car on financing or leasing is to minimize the impact it has on the size of the mortgage that would be made available to you by the banks. Because in case of buying a house on mortgage, the bank will give you lower mortgage limit in case your car is financed or leased. Now, the fourth item is getting a job. For this purpose, I have made a video on how to successfully land a job in Canada. Both me, my wife, and also my friends who either immigrated before or after me landed their first job in Canada within the first 3 months using these methodologies detailed in this video. You will find this video in the link shared above. Now, the fifth item on the list is medical. For this purpose, make sure you check the rules and regulations of the province that you would be landing as to how long do they take to provide you with the health card after you're landing in that particular province. It is this health card which provides you access to the free medical benefits. For instance, in case of Ontario, where I live, it takes 4 to 6 weeks for your health card to arrive after you've landed and registered for it. Which means during this period, which is of 4 to 6 weeks, when you don't have your health card, you will not be having access to your free medical services by the province. And hence it is advisable that you get some kind of insurance for you and your family, especially if you have special medical needs. Because falling sick or having medical needs in absence of your medical card may almost end up breaking the bank for you. Now, the sixth item is driving license. My advice, register yourself for the driving test and get it out of the way as soon as possible before you get busy with other stuff. Also, this may take some time because usually there is a waiting list. Hence, as soon as you land on day 1, register yourself for the driving test. There are 3 levels of driving license. You can get more details on them on the official website. I will leave the link of the official website in the description of this video. Now note, in case you're coming from South Asia and you're someone like me, it is best to brush up your driving skills. For that matter, it is advisable that you hire an instructor and get 1 or 2 lessons just to have an idea with regards to what to expect in the driving test. Now the 7th item, and one of the most common questions that I get asked, is which bank to use. Here my advice, irrespective whether it's Canada or not, whenever you move to a new country, always go for the local bank. So search for a local bank which has the most number of branches in your area or city and go for it just for sake of an ease of accessibility. The most common names for local banks in Canada are TD Bank, BMO, RBC, CIBC. Now as we come to the end of this video, one word of caution. Be cautious of phone frauds. These are usually text or police related. Here a fraudster would randomly call you, pretend that they are either tax authorities, police, or they are calling from a legal department, will tell you that you've done something wrong and you need to pay a penalty and fine through a bank transaction. As soon as you hear this call, just cancel the call immediately. The authorities in this country will never call you to charge you against an event or ask you to settle a claim. So much so that even when you get a notice for a claim, you can challenge it versus needing to pay it immediately. So stay away from these pressure tactic scams. New immigrants are more prone to this, especially because of the fact that they are not familiar with the system. This happened to me as well. It was in my first week after coming to Canada and I received a call with someone pretending to be from police department. Luckily, I had heard these examples from my friends and I ended up cancelling the call immediately. I receive these calls even now, once a quarter after 4 years of being in Canada. These are usually calls not made from Canada, rather either from Asia or Africa. Welcome to Canada, and I hope your settling process goes as smooth as possible. Please do like the video in case it was helpful, and also subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to press the bell icon so you get notified as soon as I put a new content out there. Thank you.